standard of safety play is no longer defined by how you play the one position, but how many different positions, not just safety, you can play effectively. Gone are the days with just two hyper-defined safety positions where one Earl Thomas type roamed deep over the top, dominating with speed, while the other Cam Chancellor type, who played in the box tackle to tackle, dominated with power. Nowadays, the best safeties in the game can do both of those jobs and more. You need the speed to try to run with Tyreek Hill, just like you need the power to try and smash Derrick Henry, and be able to guard tight ends and running backs. Versatility is now the name of the game at the safety position, which is why there's one of them who's about to be drafted in the top 5, Notre Dame's Kyle Hamilton. Hamilton is a freak athlete whose 6'4", 220-pound frame is as big as his wingspan and arms are wide. Over his 3-year career, he recorded 7.5 tackles for a loss, 8 interceptions, and racked up 97 tackles before a knee injury cut his junior year short. But it's not about the stats for Hamilton, it's the fact he plays all over the field. The bulk of the time he was covering the offense's slot wide receiver. He played deep about 25% of the time, in the box about 20% of the time, and logged a couple snaps outside in receivers and also on the line of scrimmage. He is versatile in every sense of the word, which allows him to impact the game from every which direction, allows the defense to disguise what they're doing in a million different ways, but also raises some questions about his projection and where exactly he fits into an NFL defense. Before we really start to dive into his film, I want to give another gigantic thank you to my friends at Built Bar. Built Bar has created the best tasting health energy bar that I have ever had. The flavor is surprisingly good, and when you read the ingredients, it's even more surprising. Built Bars compared to their competitors have fewer calories, less fat, less net carbs, tons of protein and fiber, and that's not even the best part. That's the flavor. Their 18 different flavors are all super solid, delicious, all with smooth, comforting textures, and are one of my go-tos at any time of the day for any kind of activity. I have a ton of flavors that I love. One's the coconut, and one's this one I just tried, the salted caramel, which tastes straight up like salted caramel ice cream, but legit, all their flavors are delicious. Built Bar ships boxes right to your doorstep, and when you order, you can customize a box to get exactly what you want, or you can order just one flavor, or get a 12-bar mix box to try a bunch of different flavors. To get 10% off any order, just use my coupon code ALEXNFL10. So when we take a deeper look at Hamilton and all the different ways he will impact the game, his versatility is definitely numero uno. He is such a freaky athlete, Notre Dame used him in a million different roles. Deep half safety, single high safety, he can guard slot receivers, tight ends, and running backs. I didn't really see him play in the box too often as a physical type, but his frame certainly suggests he's capable of doing that. He has a unique feel for the game, especially seeing as that his biggest plays from his junior year were on broken plays, where the quarterback tried to break the pocket outside of structure, but Hamilton's ball hawking ability was just at a higher level. The most important way a defender can impact the game is to turn the ball over, and Hamilton has shown rare instincts for diagnosing what's happening when all hell is breaking loose. Here there are a lot of things at work, so let's go piece by piece and break down what went wrong and why Hamilton had to save the day. Notre Dame is playing quarters coverage with 4 deep defenders, but since there's just one receiver over here, the corner and safety double him using what's called a cone bracket. Since the receiver immediately goes underneath on a shallow, the safety charges up to cut him off, which means the corner doesn't have to, so he just zones off in his quarter. The edge defender peels off to account for the running back, but when the QB loads up to take advantage of the running back on pass rusher mismatch, the zoned off corner is right there sitting and waiting. Hamilton is just reading the QB's eyes here, and when he sees him begin to break the pocket, he knows he doesn't need to worry about any responsibility behind him and slowly begins mirroring the QB's movement. The edge rusher thinks there's a safety deep to pass off the running back, but he's right here, and the corner knows somebody has to account for the QB scramble, so now all that's left to stop the running back is Kyle Hamilton, and check out this man running like goddamn Air Bud. He has a rare feel for the game when everything's breaking down, which is a positive, but that can also be seen as a negative. A lot of his biggest plays come out of structure, which raises questions of why isn't he shutting down plays earlier and using his anticipation within structure, and to that I'd present this example from one of his best games against Purdue. On 4th and 1, with Purdue just 1 yard away from converting the first down, they call a jet sweep to pick up the 1. It looks like a great call on their part since Notre Dame is stacking all these dudes in tight inside to defend against the QB sneak, and for some reason playing 2 high safeties. Hamilton knows the middle is all clogged up due to the tight D-line inside, so he doesn't have to worry as much about that area, and he also notices there's 2 tight ends aligned in a YY alignment. If Purdue wanted to run outside, those tight ends would certainly provide a blocking advantage, which sounds a little alarm for him. When he sees the only wide receiver on the field begin to jet motion, he starts moving that direction and triggers lightning quick when he sees both tight ends arc outside. You could argue this guy blew his assignment and shouldn't double the apex defender, but instead should be sealing the inside against Hamilton. But remember, Purdue just needs 1 yard, so this linebacker is crucial to the block. Look at the flexibility Hamilton shows to dip around the double team and make the play. This kind of anticipation, trigger, and speed are rare to see, especially from a player as big as him, and shows just what kind of range he has to make plays all over the field. His most impressive quality, in my opinion, is his ability to lock down slot receivers, which are typically the offense's quickest, twitchiest dude on the field, who you'd assume a player as big as Hamilton would have the most difficulty covering, but even when the offense has the perfect play call, like here with Patriot, Hamilton is the difference maker. Notre Dame is playing cover 1 man with 1 deep safety, and Patriot is a 1 high beater. Slot fades are way harder to defend with just 1 deep safety because of all the space the receiver has to work, and the concept isolates Hamilton on him by pinning down the corner with a little hitch route outside, but he's able to flip his hips like no other and blanket the receiver. Being able to affect the game from every area makes him a threat wherever he's lined up, which provides an added benefit for how coordinators can disguise coverages with him. The keys to disguising coverage is having versatile players and presenting threats in certain areas, then attacking from somewhere else. If you don't have legit versatility, those threats will simply be empty and non-effective. Quarterbacks know when safeties are over the top or capping underneath defenders. That's usually an indicator this guy is blitzing, since the safety can easily come down and guard that receiver. This causes Purdue's offensive line to slide 4 of their linemen to the right to pick up Hamilton's potential blitz, but Notre Dame is actually sending these defenders and are dropping Hamilton to the middle of the field. Notre Dame gets the free runner if he kept going outside, and if you get enough free access towards the quarterback, then eventually good things are gonna happen for the defense. Hamilton's versatility opens up a ton of things you can do not just in zone coverage, but in man too. Offenses these days use a ton of bunch and trips looks with clusters of receivers, so defenses have found a lot of their own answers to counter. Teams don't always want to just play straight man here, because the offense could create picks or rubs and get guys to run into each other. So if Notre Dame wanted to use, for example, what teams call a traffic check, where the point man on the line of scrimmage plays man, but then these two banjo the receivers, where after they release, this guy takes the outside and this guy takes the inside, well, now they can. When defenses banjo receivers, you risk a safety on a receiver, which is a mismatch. But with Hamilton, that's not a problem at all. Even just looking at this 3-play example near the end of the first half, where Notre Dame starts him at a typical safety depth but has him flying all over the field, defenses could create some wild 3rd down packages for him, where he could play a quarter or deep half, roll down as a buzz defender, carry the seam and fire zone, or guard the slot or tight end in man. The versatility he provides for any defense the day he steps into the building is what makes him so intriguing, but with all the good that comes with that versatility, also comes some questions. Well, primarily just one: what is his real position? Yeah, he does all the things we talked about well, but does he have the range to predominantly play as a one-eye safety? I don't think so. Does he have the physicality to play exclusively in the box? I don't know. And while he has had some great reps as a slot defender, it's not like he's gonna play nickel in the NFL. Yes, he can be used all over the field due to that versatility, but at some point he's gonna have to define himself as a certain position, and exactly what that is, it's hard to say. In the 4 games I had available to me to study, I didn't see him play with great physicality. I saw him struggle to square up tackles and effectively push people around. I didn't like how far off Notre Dame played him, but still, when he was asked to, he'd get torched in coverage. And as I mentioned, almost all of his big plays come out of structure, which indicates he might not be anticipating within structure at a high level. It can be challenging to project a versatile safety like Hamilton who plays all of these positions, because when he gets to the NFL and the competition is better and the players are faster, it's possible he won't be able to play any of these positions. If I'm the team drafting him, I'm asking him to match up on tight ends and running backs, use his speed in 2 high shells, and then disguise the hell out of everything we're doing where he drops down from depth. And what I don't want him to do is play as the single high safety, because I don't know if he has the range, and I'm worried about his ability in the box and as a tackler. These pros and cons project him as a high ceiling player, but also a lower floor player, and that's kind of scary for a top 5 pick. But when you look at the landscape of today's NFL safeties, the best of the best all play the game with great versatility, and Hamilton is as versatile as they come. Could he crash and burn and not pan out whatsoever? Yeah. But someone who's shown all the traits we've gone over in this episode is somebody who I see as legit. Kyle Hamilton is about to go in the top 5 of the NFL draft, because his versatility is just what the NFL's looking for.